Is this normal now? Is this what we are doing? You think it's okay? Like all the AI thing and stuff like that. And some people are like, yeah, it is. Deal with it. Girl, I'm not going to. I'm sorry, but no. So for the past year, Adobe was like in a lot of drama related to artists and AI art. So let's talk about it. So everybody knows that Adobe implemented this new AI Firefly tool that is not new anymore, that is used throughout Photoshop and Illustrator, that is integrated into Adobe's Creative Cloud. The purpose is to assist image generation and enhancing the workflow and stuff like that, enhancing your design, enhancing your work. But people are very angry because a lot of things happened. So basically around a year ago, Adobe updated their terms of service and a lot of people were really upset because it was concerning the Adobe Stock. Adobe Stock is a service that provides designers and business to access millions of high-quality, curated, royalty-free photos, videos, illustrations, vector graphics, etc. for all your creative projects. You can purchase Adobe Stock as a multi-asset subscription, blah blah blah. And basically the problem was that there were a lot of even famous artists' works. Why am I saving even? Just in general. There were artist works in this Adobe Stock thing, and these people did not give their permission to put their name and their arts into Adobe Stock. Plus, there were a bunch of AI generated works that were created from their work. So people were tweeting different artists that they were finding on the Adobe Stock, and they were like, do these artists even know that they're on this thing? By the way, the sponsor of this video, my brushes. You can get my brushes on Gumroad, link in the description. Even Loish wrote, "Hello Adobe, could you explain why my name can be found in your AI generated Adobe Stock images without my permission?" And somebody tweeted, "Not just the fact that this has happened to countless artists, is that Adobe is profiting off of it, and they have the audacity to tell people to manually report each one of these instances. They also exploited fine print to train on their stock contributors without their consent." Referencing the Louis tweet. There was another artist who wrote in their Twitter, "Dear Adobe, you mentioned your AI images uses the Adobe Stock library only and guarantees the artist gets a royalty. And can you explain why my name is in your library and there is a bunch of AI generated images with my name without my consent or prior knowledge?" And so a lot of people had like a bunch of different opinions about it. Majority of people were really upset because the updated terms grant Adobe the right to use your art, your images, your content that can be uploaded to Adobe Stock for various purposes, including training AI models. So people were saying that like their work that can be monetized through the Adobe Stock is being used to create a new AI generated content that can potentially compete with their original work. Who wouldn't be angry? Of course, that's terrible. People were demanding financial compensation and stuff like that, and Adobe were like, "Oh, you can manually report these things, right? Like you can just manually report each one of the pieces if you're upset." Excuse me? We already had a huge DeviantArt AI scandal where you kind of also had to like manually remove your art if you don't want to participate in it, which doesn't make any sense. Why would they even take your art without your permission, right? Adobe was trying to defend their position, saying that a bunch of other companies use these type of rules. It's like a standard policy within an industry. It's within the law and things like that. And also there are other companies who develop their AI technologies, and it's not just them. So let's talk about the updated terms of use. There were a couple, to say the least. Somebody tweeted, that was a couple months ago. So am I reading this right, Adobe? I can't use Photoshop unless I'm okay with you having a full access to anything I create with it, including NDA work. And so these are some of the screenshots from the updated terms from that time. That was a couple months ago. There were a couple points. I'm not a lawyer, okay? I don't, honestly, when I'm like downloading anything, I'm skipping that. I'm not reading all that. But it's interesting that people bringing this up, all these terms of use and stuff like that. So let's dive into it. So this is one of the first points that people were upset with. It basically says that Adobe has access to your content, okay? And I'm going to say my opinion, and we're going to also see the updated terms and talk about everything. But basically it says like, we may access, view, or listen your content. Okay, next. Thank you, next. You grant us a non-exclusive worldwide royalty-free sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, publicly display, distribute, modify, create, blah blah blah, and translate the content. So Adobe basically said that you give access to your content first, and second is that you grant them a non-exclusive license, I guess, if I'm reading it right. Maybe I can't even read English at this point. Honestly, to me, like when I'm reading this right now, this sounds like a normal terms of use type of thing that every single app or whatever like thing that you use, every single program that you software that you use have. Even on Procreate, I think there are similar terms of use, but of course Procreate does not use AI. Okay, Procreate is against the AI, and they even tweeted that, and they are not going to implement AI training things. And so at the same time where they updated these terms of use, they tweeted text to image is magic, and that was a lot to take, and people were like canceling their subscriptions and stuff like that. Somebody tweeted, hey Adobe, AI art is an anti-artist and theft, I would like to cancel my sub. And there were like a bunch of people who did, and Adobe were like, okay, email us or like contact us here or something like that. And somebody tweeted, no, it's not magic, it's theft. Adobe stealing from artists is probably not a smart move, since Adobe's customers are all artists. Corporations are frequently guilty of groupthink, and just a prime example, the worship of AI. There were a lot of people who were like really not having it at all, but there were also like other type of people who were kind of okay with that. And still, even in my previous videos, I saw comments like that people say that AI is just a tool, just use it like a tool. Don't like somebody tweeted, don't just commission completed works from it. Or some other person tweeted, AI is really just marketing. A lot of these companies right now implement AI because it's like a trend type of thing. What do you guys think about it? So after that happened, a lot of people started canceling their subscriptions, and they were like, okay, we're finding alternatives, we're not using Adobe anymore. And like around like a couple weeks ago, Adobe updated again their terms of use, and let's see what they wrote. This is basically the same information that was written before. They just wrote it in like a more understandable like type of language. It will be more accessible to people and more clear. But if you look closely to the old terms, it's pretty much the same. And they say like, we don't claim any ownership rights to your content. Your content is your content. This is basically, yeah, of course. And most importantly, what it says in section 4.3, that they don't train generative AI models on your or your customer's content unless you submitted the content to the Adobe Stock Marketplace. My question is, there were a bunch of these artists who were there without their permission. That's what my question is. I guess they just fucked up and now they're trying to fix it. I don't know. To me, like the old terms and the new terms, they're pretty much the same. They just rephrase. They look like any other kind of software terms of use. Like for example, you give us an access to your content. Yes, obviously you have to give an access to your content to their software, because like how else you're going to upload your software to like the program or something. Obviously you have to grant an access to it. Even if you're like downloading a new app to like a MacBook, you have to give an access to your microphone. You have to give an access to like your location sometimes and things like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I think it's okay. And then there was another point in the terms that were updated a couple months ago that says something like that you give an access to produce like copies or something of your art or your like whatever images, your content. And people were like, oh my god, this means that they are going to like make copies, meaning like they're going to make AI images from my art or something like that. But I think what that really means is that if you have several of your libraries, for example, and you're trying to import your one project into one library or like even like airdrop it or something, doesn't it mean that it's gonna create a copy within the CC? What do you guys think? Because that's what it looks like to me. Now, I've been using Photoshop for like, I don't know how many years, 15, 18 years, a lot, like a long time, okay? I don't know if there are other better alternatives to Photoshop at this time. And I started that conversation already in my previous videos about AI, about what are actually like some of the like productive ways of using AI. How I use it, for example, I sometimes if there is some screenshot or some image that is cropped and I need like a full version, but I don't have a full version, obviously, that is image, but that is not an art, you know, it's not an illustration or something, that is just like an image, like a photo or something. It's pretty handy to like fill in that cropped part, for example, or to remove some text or something that is like for some like personal purposes, for example. That is pretty handy. I don't know about the art part though. because in my opinion, AI art is empty. It is based on work of a lot of other people. It cannot really be fully yours in the first place. And another thing, like some people wrote to me in the comments under my previous videos, I was saying like, so is this normal now? Is this what we are doing? Is you think it's okay? Like all the AI thing and stuff like that. And some people are like, yeah, it is. Deal with it. Girl, I'm not going to. I'm sorry, but no, clearly it's not okay. Okay. Obviously, there are AI features that are good as a tool. I'm not going to doubt that, and I'm not going to try to pretend like it's not our new reality and that it's not our future. Obviously, it's going to progress and develop more into some maybe potentially better technologies, better tools, not just the way we see it right now. But to say that it's okay to take people's art without permission to generate new like images, no, you know what? I'm not going to deal with. I'm not going to be okay. Like no. I don't know. Maybe I'm just at this point right now. Maybe something is going to change, but no. Also, even like since last year, there were companies, there were like some industries that are replacing real people with AI. It's a thing in game development, in like art, illustration type of careers. My previous video is about how you can protect your art from AI. So please watch it if you're interested in potentially protecting your art and not participating in this type of like AI training things. I will be really happy to know your opinion. Please write your comments, like, subscribe, and buy my brushes for Procreate. Thank you.